What's going on, everyone? I'm going to show you how I beat the Scaturee avatar. This was probably the most frustrating boss I experienced in Shadow of the Erdtree. So I figured I'd give you some tips. First of all, I used the Mimic because F it. This boss deserved it. So I started off using the Mimic immediately as soon as I got into the room. Then the boss is going to throw these branches at you, and it always comes this way. And what I did was I kind of went at an angle. I went through a right angle and then to the left at an angle as well. I think just seeing my character's body at an angle, I'm able to see exactly where those branches are going and when they're going to hit me. I think that's the difference, because having them come straight on and straight to you, I think can kind of mess up the perception of how close they are, you know, if that makes sense. So try dodging it at an angle. I feel that helps a bit. And it typically got me unharmed, so definitely do that. And then I just got in there as close as possible. I stayed close as possible. Once you get distance, that's where you can get into trouble. And so I just stayed there and made myself at home and kept attacking when I could, healed when I had to. I backed off when I could if they did do the attack where it hits the ground and spreads some branches and vines or whatever you want to call them. If I could get away, I would. If I was stuck there and had no time to do that, I would just do my best to time my roll. If you wait a little bit, if you hesitate a bit, you can roll through the attack. So if you just get to know that timing of when that starts to spread, you can roll and dodge through it and have those iframes so you're not hurt. And then, of course, after each phase, the boss gets stunned and you're going to want to repost them here. If you miss this, it's fine. It'll still go to the next phase, but you won't have that damage going into it. It's best to get this done because then they'll have that extra damage going into the next phase and you could start with a little bit of a head start there. Now, this fight is 3 phases, okay? Not 1, not 2, but 3. They actually went with 3 on this, and I think that's what makes it more difficult because you gotta go the distance. Miyazaki's definitely trolling us here with this fight. This fight got me so pissed off. So I just did my best to rinse and repeat. What I just told you on the first phase, I did for the second and third phase. Because it's pretty much the same phase, except there's a couple new moves thrown in there, such as the charge attack, and then you also have the projectiles, and then the AoE huge attack, which happens on the third phase. And at that point, you want to just run your butt off and get as much distance as you can. But other than that, it's essentially the same phase as the first one. You just kind of have to go the distance, hang in there, get through it, stay close when you can, dodge when you can when it comes to those AoE spreads, and then also get behind the boss when they do the front attack and spread just in the front of their body and not behind them. There's a little trick to each one and kind of noticing the different types of animations they do to know the differences between all of them. But worst case scenario, if you're stuck in that attack where it spreads on the floor, just time that dodge as good as possible. Or take the hit, tank it, heal, and continue. Either way, just get through it. And hopefully your Mimic doesn't take too much damage. If they do and they end up dying, then you're on your own and you just kind of have to go through these steps again by yourself, which is totally possible. I've done it. My Mimic didn't last the whole entire time, so I had to take the rest of it by myself. But at that point, you should be in a rhythm and your Mimic will get you there a little bit easier to kind of get to the end of this fight. The boss also starts to do this rush attack where they'll go to the other side of the area and then rush through you. You're going to want to try and roll through this as best as possible. Sometimes they'll go for the Mimic, sometimes they'll go for you. You just have to be ready to roll if it is indeed on you. And then, of course, they're going to continue with spreading those branches at you, throwing them at you. You're going to want to do the rolling at an angle, like I said before. I usually went right and then left. I felt it just gave me better position to make that roll and not get hit. So make sure you get to that and then do the rest of these steps. And I think you'll get it done. You just have to have that patience to go 3 phases, which again, From Software is trolling us. It can be very annoying, this fight, so just hang in there and do what I did, watch my video, and I promise you'll get there eventually. Don't be afraid to use that mimic or other spirits or anything that you feel will help you, because they're in this game to do so. They're in this game for a reason. And some bosses just call for it. And I feel this is one of those. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it helps. Let me know if it did in the comment section. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you in my next one. Bye.